This is a tutorial for parents to show you how to navigate a lesson and understand what resources are available to you. First, I just want to remind you on our website, we have lots of resources and we'll always continue to add to those resources. For example, here the drop down the curriculum allows you to see the scope and sequence for each grade and the subjects within the grades, the lesson titles so you know what's coming up, your supply and reading list. Um, and we'll continue to enhance that. What I'd like to show you, you're familiar, if you're a parent, you're familiar with the screen or a teacher where you see the students under your charge and you can view their progress across their subjects, their report cards, and specifically, I just want to show you how to navigate a specific lesson. When you click on the lesson, your bookmark automatically to the last lesson they did and leading you into the next lesson. I pulled up a couple lessons for you already over here. So this is a first grade English lesson. You want to click on the apple for embedded suggestions, supplies, outside the class activities you can do to enhance a lesson. And if we've ever embedded worksheets to accompany the lesson, you can click them here. They're in PDFs, so most computers already have PDF readers. And you click on it, usually your browser will keep it here at the bottom of the screen for you just to click on and open up. If you don't see it there, you can always go to your downloads folder and it'll be the last item you modified. This here is just a spelling list with the activities to do during the week to rehearse and study for your spelling test. And so then as you just go down the lesson, a couple things to note. In a do learning curriculum, you always have biblical rationale, the objectives, essential questions on the right hand side. And this will just help you know how to follow up with students to make sure they have achieved the objectives. Essential questions are great open-ended questions to help guide them to formulate lesson to lesson throughout the unit to build the bigger house that we've been scaffolding in the instruction. The biblical rationale just lays the basis biblically and can lead into deeper open-ended discussions as well, where our curriculum is really revealing greater biblical truths of where God's revealing himself in creation. And as you go down the lesson, you'll see call-outs. There's green ones for biblical call-outs. Often we'll have different orange call-outs that direct students for an activity, whether it's to talk to a teacher, parent, right, another student, something to do on their own. Draw It will instruct them then to go to their virtual backpack and pull out their drawing pad, and they'll just draw, and that will then be linked to the lesson as they study later on. There'll be a lot of writing activities, and all your English lessons, language arts lessons will have a section with phonics, handwriting, grammar and writing, and reading. This lesson actually has an interactivity where you insert labels and you'll find anchors on an image, and the students would need to match the label with the anchor, and after they do that, it gives immediate feedback. You have your reveal questions where they ask a question, and then when they want to check the answer, they just click on that. And then, as I mentioned before, you always have your formative assessment at the end of the lesson. When you want to mail a letter to someone, there is someone you must attach to the envelope in the upper right-hand corner. The words ends with this final consonant blend, MP. Well, we're looking for a stamp. I'm going to click on stamp, and there it is. The next one, again, the whole lesson, this is just assessing their understanding of the objectives of the lesson. We have a matching here of the consonant blends with pictures. There's a ramp. Right here, we've got a thump. We've got a camp. And we've got a swamp. You go through each of the formative questions. They have to answer all of them. Today you begin reading about fables and fairy tales. Oh, I got that one wrong. It lets me know that. And their scoring's weighted, and it will show up on a report card, and then the teacher actually and parent has a decision if you want that grade to be weighted in the report card, but it is recorded. And then a student has to mark lesson complete before they can go on then to the next lesson. If they don't mark it complete, then they will not be able to advance. Just another example preview lesson. Here's a first grade science. Again, you have if there's any supplies needed, any recommendations. You've got your lesson. In this one, we actually have a timeline, and students, however you scroll, whether you use it on your mouse pad or your mouse, or if an iPad, obviously it's just with moving your fingers and pinching. You can manipulate these dates. You just grab on. We have when Robert Hooke died, when he was born, when he wrote a book about cells under a microscope, when he was paid to perform a few experiments. And so you just line it up with the correct year, and I'll just quickly show you one. We know he was born in 1635. So I grab this. I'm actually going to move my timeline down and move it over right there, 1635. And then you just take each one and grab it to it and drag it over. And that lets you see how the timeline works. And again, you will always have your do it at the end of the lesson to formally check your assessments in it. Okay, so that just kind of gives you a quick idea of how you go through a lesson. I'd like to also just quickly show you kind of the behind the scenes. Basically, the magic of a do lesson works like this. You have lesson in basic text, and then we take that text and we move it into our platform. You open up a specific lesson, and we have our different parts of the template where you do the instruction, you have your biblical rationale, your objectives, and your censor questions, and then you can add your quizzes at the end here. And then when you're done, you save it, and then it will be published. And why don't we actually do that? And so you can see the final, how that text is then converted. We have our teacher notes here, the PDF that you can download there. We have interactivity of a tooltip where the student clicks on that and gets more information. We have another insert labels, and to actually, I'll get a couple of these wrong here so you can see what happens. Oh, got these two wrong, so I need to drag them out, and let me see that one there, and then Bethlehem here, and got it right. They're all in green. Student moves on, just gives quick feedback. We have a slideshow for a student to go through different photos. Again, a reveal answer to check. We have another timeline that they click on, and they manipulate these dates, and then the formative assessment at the end. So really, this gives you a sense of how to navigate a lesson. And as I said before, we'll always be adding more to the web page, and we'll be adding more links to those resources via the dashboard. And I hope this has been helpful.